I'm waiting.
We need some distance between us. I can't be too close to you.
That's right. Is this that scene in Breaking Bad?
What do you?
Is this the Mike death scene? Spoiler.
Spoiler. 7 years ago.
Right.
They're all blue. They're blue.
Are we on? And is Periscope going? Hi, Periscope.
Hello, Periscope.
Hey, welcome YouTube
Google.
Live and Google Plus. Are we on Twitch too?
Are those?
Yeah, I'm
Those
very
are cameras?
twitchy.
Wow.
Didn't you
Those
know
are
that?
webcams?
How many we've had?
Well, no, I didn't know what they. I mean, I knew they were. I just never.
Those are cameras. How about the audio? Have we got audio? Do we have a name for this episode?
What are we?
We're doing hotel.
Yeah, Chutes and Ladders.
All right. For those of you that don't know, we do live podcasting here. So tonight we're doing live podcasting. We usually do them on Saturday nights, but because there's a little zombie infestation happening tomorrow,
Yes.
we're doing it tonight. And we're changing up how we normally do things because we've got kind of an intimate little crowd here. I'm going to set this up real quick.
Where's our stalker?
I don't know. So this week, we have this network. We have 80-plus shows in it. And one of our first shows is one that came up for American Horror Story called
Yes.
Disturbed. And this week, we're already late with them.
We're catching up.
But our two guys who host Disturbed had to stop. They didn't even get out of the gate on this season. They felt terrible. No harm, no foul. They're still around, but they can't do the show. So Chris and I have stepped up to the plate. We're doing American Horror Story. So tonight,
After you decreed we're not doing any.
after
more
I said
shows.
I will never do any more shows, I almost picked up 2 this week.
Nice.
We're going to talk about episode 2 of this season of American Horror Story. So if you're an American Horror Story fan and you haven't seen them, earmuffs. All right, let's jump into it.
All right.
Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. It is a special night. We are doing a live version, first time ever live
Of
of Disturbed,
Yeah.
the American Horror Story podcast. We're talking season 5, episode 2 of Hotel. What's the name of it?
Chutes and Ladders.
Shoots and Ladders.
And it's a great name because
See,
of it. So
with a name like Southgate, I'm English, so I call it Snakes and Ladders.
Yes.
So that's why I get confused.
yeah, right.
No.
Okay, no.
Okay. Those of you that listen to Disturbed at home,
Yes.
this will not be a normal thing. We won't normally be doing it live, but that's how we're rolling tonight. So here we
That's
go.
good.
And those of you on Periscope and everywhere else, if you want to write in with questions, we have people watching and they'll be manning things and they can tell us what's going on so we can interact with you if you have questions or comments or just want to tell our production guys things about
and
themselves.
please feel free to boo us.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Hashtag boo.
Boo.
Hashtag Boo William would be even better. Okay, so let's jump
Edward
into
Lee.
it. I'm Rob Southgate,
I'm Chris Mao.
and this is Disturbed. All right, Chris, episode 2, season 5.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
So yeah. Oops,
This
sorry,
is
I'm
going to
picking
be
stuff. That's
this.
great.
Okay, first of all, this show is a challenge to do clean anyway.
Yeah.
We have to do it clean in a restaurant.
Right. And
This-
my restaurant, which is
This episode.
yeah, tough one. Well, yeah. If this is the second one, we're going to be in big trouble.
We're in big trouble, man.
It's getting bad. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't. I'll just say flop this out on episode 2.
no. And by the
And
way, here
expect
we
it to
go.
get,
So
all nice and cheery after this.
yeah.
Holy smoke!
Yeah, in the beginning when the producers were talking about this episode, saying it was going to be the scariest and darkest, well, it already is. It's. I think it's gone
You
deeper
mean
than
this season?
this season.
Yeah.
I think it's gone darker and deeper than any other season so far.
I totally agree.
It's insane, and it's like what we were talking about in the first when we talked about the first episode. They're bringing in everything I think they can with the hotel and bringing it in the hotel, which is great. So
We got big answers in this episode.
we did absolutely.
Stuff that we talked about. This is great too, because
Yes.
usually some of this stuff they don't flip the cards on and tell you what's going on until much later in the season.
Right,
They flip the cards on everything we talked about in that first episode. Like
pretty much.
we're wondering about the vampires.
Right.
What are they? How does this work? Are they vampires?
Yes.
I love Lady Gaga's explanation.
Yeah.
I love how that was delivered because she basically read a list of rules is what she did.
Yes.
But it didn't feel like we were getting read a list of rules. It felt like this guy is a new vampire, and he was asking questions, and she just said, as they're doing things, she lays out what they are.
Right.
And first thing, we can go in the sun. Not a great idea, but it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
I loved that because that was a big question in the first episode. They opened the curtains and the guy's like, but he was fine. And we're like, well, maybe they're not vampires. Maybe it's like, you ever see that movie Martin?
Yes.
Remember the guy pretends he's a vampire?
Yes. And then
That's what I started thinking about after our first episode. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be more of a Martin type situation. But oh no, they're vampires.
Yes, they are.
How old is she? She's like 100 and something.
She was born as she said 1904, so she's 101 years old.
Wow.
111 years old. Sorry. Nice math.
Chris, you didn't get your shoe off in time.
I didn't.
You didn't get that last 10.
Sorry, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, do the math wrong. So
that's all right. You know what? If you're asking for math skills, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Well, I don't know about that.
We're going to get Neil deGrasse Tyson in here, and he'll help us out.
Yes, he will talk about how it's impossible, but that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and
it's impossible.
And the rules were great because Finn Wittrock, who is playing, his name's Tristan. What is it? Tristan.
I don't know.
Tristan Duffy.
I'm flying blind here. I don't have a computer or anything.
He's a fantastic character. Just crazy good from the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like, well, do silver bullets kill us? And she's like, of course they do. She's like, of course, idiot. And she's like, but you're superhuman. You have special powers. She stated it was a virus.
Yes,
so
she called it a virus. That was important.
So is it like a zombie thing? Is it a vampire thing? We don't know what's going on.
That was really important saying that.
They don't drink the blood of the dead.
And or diseased or anything. Like it's got to be pure.
So it's like a World War Z kind of thing, which is kind of cool. And they go into it with the kids, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure. So
yes, we will.
Which is crazy good. And it was just a great scene. It was only like a minute and a half long, and it basically explained everything. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
But it didn't feel forced. It was like you're watching it, and it was because of how they did it. I really enjoy how they did this because the rules are specific to this. Yes, we're dealing with vampires. Yes, we're dealing with things that we're familiar with. But the way the writer did this, by having it be a guy who's just turned, who knew nothing about it, he asked the questions we would ask about the sun, about the things we know about vampires. And she just was very nonchalantly just saying, like, no, yes, you need to know this.
Right.
I loved it.
And then she's like, the only thing that's going to kill you is your stupidity, which is fantastic. So and it wasn't like what was the HBO series? True Blood. It wasn't like True Blood where you're like this maniac. It's like, no, you're pretty much a normal person, but you're better. You're like a step above, and you're
and like she hunts. They do their hunting. It's got that same kind of thing.
Sure,
but it's kind of like the opposite, the polar opposite of the movie Near Dark.
Yep.
In Near Dark, they're vampires. They're running through Texas. It's a great vampire movie. One of my favorites, actually. They're going through Texas, and they're just filthy. They're animals. Lance Henriksen's trying to not be, but the rest of them are just freaking animals.
Right.
And this is almost the opposite. She's not an animal. She's cultured.
Yeah.
She's into art. She's got some bizarre tendencies.
But that would be, like if you look at some of the other.
But she's also lived for 110 years.
The sophisticated vampires, even like in Diary of a Vampire.
I was going to say
all that stuff, or Hunger, or even True Blood.
Yes.
The guys that live a long time, they're not going to be animals. They're going to be the creme de la creme. They're going to be, they know what's fine.
We mentioned Hunger as being an inspiration on this last episode.
Absolutely.
I think you just hit another one. I think it's Lestat is another one. I think that Finn Wittrock or whatever is
Finn Wittrock,
he is going to evolve. He's either going to flame out, or he's going to evolve into a Lestat type character.
Well, Donovan even said to him, he's not going to last a week, and he's this pretentious, snotty person before he gets turned. Why wouldn't he be like that? Because he.
But she said it too. She's like, you were a piece of garbage, when I took you in. Don't think you're any better here, Yeah.
Oh no, she put him in his place, but she did that to. I think she did that to break free of him. And then, as we were talking a
But
little
is
bit
she
beforehand,
breaking free, or is she doing the Dracula thing with the mini brides?
well, she basically said when it's over, and she alluded to having past loves in her life that she broke up with. Now, something interesting, and I didn't pick up on it when we watched the show, but reading about the synopsis, Naomi Campbell, who does her cameo in the fashion show, her last name is Royal, and she mentioned something about Royal. So,
she did. So, I didn't catch that at all.
Neither did I until I read about it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh.
I actually didn't notice Naomi Campbell, but I saw her name.
Well, I noticed her, but I couldn't. I was.
That's
thinking,
interesting. It was weird. It must have just. This was another case. I watched the first half of the episode on my phone, like I talked about.
Yeah.
Which once again, the sound design on this is top notch.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
It is top notch. I mean, for anybody that's into like film and cinematography and all that, even if you're not into horror, try to stomach a little of this show because it is shot so beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
The acting is just top notch, man. Everybody in here is killing it.
Yes.
No pun intended. And the
yes,
sound,
killing it and killing it.
The sound design is just amazing.
Well, we talked about in the first episode, they recreated the lobby of the hotel on a soundstage. So it is, the lobby of the hotel is built.
Right.
Complete with stairwells, complete with a working elevator, complete with all of that.
All of it.
The skylight, all of that stuff. So there is that true echo, and it's got that stage feel.
And they're playing with that for sure. It's so
well.
It's
even
so great.
We talked about it. The kids go into the pool. Okay.
That was a great scene.
That was a great scene. But
did you know when they were going in the pool what they were going to?
Yes, I knew it. I mean, when I saw that,
I didn't know. I was like, why are they in there? And I thought he was. Remember how he saw something, not the pool. He saw
the kids.
He saw the kids
when they
I thought that's what he was. I thought he was taking her down and he was going to take her into that room,
right,
where the kids were.
Uh-huh.
But no, the coffins were in there, and I was like, "This is what a cool visual."
Well, and they did that before they did the light thing.
Not a lot of people working out in that pool.
No, not a lot of people swimming. Kathy Bates is not swimming.
Not swimming.
But
last time she was in a hot tub, she had Saran wrap on her, and Jack Nicholson was there. So
it was a little weird. Yeah, nice. That's a great thing.
Schmidt. That's what that was.
Yeah, but I mean, the
don't get the Blu-ray.
The coffins are they're like glass, leaded glass. So,
yeah.
Like you can see the light. And I'm like, what's
it's kind of like Snow White.
Right,
with the leaded glass, and these blonde kids, the boys from Brazil, are sitting there in these, which is also, that's what I keep thinking is Boys from Brazil with the white hair and everything. And I'm like, what is going on here? Are we going to get an element of that or something? Because especially now that H.H. Holmes, even though it's not him, has been introduced, are we going to get even some of that nutty stuff? They say every season is tied.
Yes.
And we had Elsa in the last season.
Right.
Is there going to be a Nazi element that crosses over into this? And are we going to see the Rubber Man from the first season show up?
We could, absolutely.
I think he's going to be in one of the rooms.
Well, there's
this is the season to do all that stuff.
As we saw in some future trailers that I was doing some research, there's some definite ties coming in, which is going to be great. So
yeah, I'm totally down with this.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So
they kind of, I want to know, there's a lot going on. The bed, because what are we calling her? I can't. It's Sally. What's
Syringe Sally?
Syringe Sally.
We got that one wrong, but we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. There's the scene where Max Greenfield, they show her sitting on top of the bed. Max Greenfield's head's poking out of it.
Yes.
So is that how they bring people to life and make them ghosts, or what's going on?
I don't know.
Because there's obviously something going on with that bed where it's obviously cut. They obviously
but she was sewing it up.
Right. Well, putting his body in there.
And he was climbing out when she got distracted.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
The bed. Yeah, well, okay, I'm going to shift gears because my favorite thing, I mean, there's so many things in this episode. Yes. We got to talk about Evan.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That entire thing was maybe the best thing that's ever been on American Horror Story. And that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. So
I was so engaged. And that was really horrifying.
Oh yeah, it was.
And it's all based, if you don't know, it's based on a real serial killer, H.H. Holmes, who's
Yes.
the book The Devil in the White
Yes.
City
Uh-huh.
is about H.H. Holmes.
It's funny because Kathleen mentioned that. She goes, they ripped that totally off from Devil in the White City. I'm like, yes, they did.
Right.
So,
On purpose.
yes, on purpose.
But
But it was his
great,
character,
though.
but it's not exactly what he did because H.H. Holmes did young women that were single.
Right.
He just basically killed everybody that
Right.
made him mad.
Right,
So,
right. But you know what? It did do some of the stuff from the book
right.
when it showed it
shoots.
when they were building it.
Yes.
In the book, it talks about how he kept using non-union people to build his murder hotel,
Right.
and in real life, and he would dispose of them. He'd fire them. He'd do whatever he could to hide the fact that he was doing all these weird things, like these
Right.
rooms that, like they'd say, why are there all these gas things going into this room? Oh, it's a mistake. You're non-union, fired. There's no
Right.
repercussion. Or they would disappear. Some of them disappeared.
Sure.
This guy, when they got too close, he like wiped them all out.
Right.
When he was done with the project, he killed that whole group of them, and then it was all great.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was just all great. And then they had that giant shoot, and he takes the guy and he cracks him in the head, and then he pushes him down the chute.
Right.
And he says, how far up was he? 5
No,
stories?
it's
or?
6 stories. It's a 60-foot drop.
He goes
So,
6 stories up.
yeah.
You're going to drop down there. And you
Yeah.
could see there were bodies in that
Yeah.
down there.
It
It
was
like, this
well,
is
it would go like go a
horrifying.
little bit to get to the main shaft and then down the main shaft and you would see them.
Yes.
And I hate to say this, I timed it. It's a 60-foot drop.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's unbelievable. Oh, you timed it, so it was pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate, yes. And
Wow.
it's actual because I looked at it because I was like, oh, it's like about 3.5 seconds or 3 seconds. So
Yeah. Oh,
it's
crazy.
mortifying. Well, because they do that in another scene earlier, in the first season, in the first episode, Syringe Sally, they take a body and put it down the chute. Remember?
Right.
And then it
Yeah.
kind of
So
goes on
it was
there.
a callback immediately. I knew what
Sure.
was going on, but having it follow the body and everything. And in the Sally scene, they showed what was going on down there.
Right.
This one, you just kind of saw it from a distance, but it was enough that you were like, oh, if
Yeah.
that guy is alive and he goes down, he's falling on all those bodies.
Yeah.
How horrible.
Exactly. It was, and then the whole thing, like we talked a little bit about earlier, it explained the Mayor Winningham, the
Mayor
cleaning
Winningham
lady, the cleaning
is
lady, like just
amazing.
yeah, she's Nurse Ratched kind of like
the best. She had the best part when she goes, "Please let me be your last victim." You're
Yes.
like, she is
not
so
victim.
crazy.
She said meal.
Yeah, your last meal.
Oh my gosh.
She's crazier than he is.
Yes.
She's like a stalker. She's a crazy stalker.
Right. She's a serial killer stalker,
Yes.
enabler, and
Now-
she's like, oh dear, it's okay.
You know, at the Halloween episode, because the Halloween episode is always a 2-parter on this.
Yes.
This year's Halloween episode, Eileen Werlos checks in. Did you know that?
I did not know that. That'll be
So
great.
I wonder if there's anyone else, but that was one that I read where they said yes. I can't remember who's playing Eileen Werlos. It's a good one too. It's one that we. Oh,
I'll have to check. So
yeah, you got to look it up.
I will.
You're going to go like, oh, of course. It's not. It's not the one who played her in the movie, though.
no, I can't. We'll have to look it up. I'll get it.
Yeah,
later,
you'll have
so.
to look it up. But yeah, Eileen Werlos. So I wonder if there's going to be anything else. They could certainly, if they want to tie it into last season, they could have Gacy check in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They
You
could.
know,
So
have it be with what's his name, Twisty.
yeah,
Twisty was the worst thing I've ever seen.
that was yes.
That's
that was-
unbelievable.
That was crazy. So well, because of the hotel, they explained kind of what happened with the hotel, how he put all of his immediate. So to set this up, the cop, Lowe, comes in.
Yeah, let's talk
basically-
about this part.
We'll talk about this. Basically, comes in, handcuffs.
Well,
Kathy
he
Bates.
checked into the hotel.
Well, no, he checked in the hotel. He's staying there because
His
the guy-
wife kicked him out.
Well, no,
but
the wife-
because
I don't think the wife kicked him out. I think he left because there was a danger to his wife. and he
right,
left.
right. The wife didn't kick him out. He left because there was the danger, but he went to that hotel because the address that they gave was that hotel. He knows something.
Yes.
He also knows because Kathy Bates, when he walked up, she said, "Hey, detective, haven't
Yeah.
seen you in a while." So somehow
Right.
he's got ties to this hotel.
Well,
we
because
have not found
and
out
I wonder
yet.
if that's back to with the son. But we'll
why
get
the son was chosen.
right.
I do wonder that.
And we'll get into that. But he basically comes in, handcuffs Kathy Bates, says, "You need to tell me what's going on at this hotel. because we know it's messed up. And she's
Right.
like, honey, all you have to do is buy me a drink and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. And
Which was great.
Right.
Another, just like the Lady Gaga scene,
right
Kathy Bates takes him, sits him down,
at the bar.
and flips the cards.
Yes.
Here's what's going on. It's like, this could have been a story that unfolded over the course of an entire season.
Right.
No, that's not the story. This is just a little sliver, and she just rolls it out. And then I
Right.
love at the end
With
of it,
Dennis
he's like,
O'Hare serving a drink in a sequin
Yes.
dress. It's like,
Dennis
how
O'Hare,
great is this?
completely shaved, in a dress, playing a character named Liz Taylor. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's his maybe one of his best acting jobs I've ever seen him do.
And that's
he-
saying a
he
lot
doesn't-
also.
and he doesn't have any words, like a few words.
No.
He just has expressions like,
No, but you know what? We're going to have an episode
Oh, yeah.
with him.
we'll have something come up with him because there'll be the whole story why he's there. But so they pour him each a drink and they're all kind of like lurking around. And because Lo is a recovering alcoholic, he pushes the drink away and Dennis O'Hare just gives him kind of like this look like, huh, and then walks away
Yeah.
because he knows something is happening that's not supposed to.
Yes.
And then Kathy Bates goes into the whole story
of Holmes, basically.
of Holmes
It's
and
not
Evan
Holmes.
Peters.
It's another character.
right,
but
but comes in and says, this is what happened. And of course, Lo kind of brushes it off. Well, that doesn't matter. It's like, no, this is the
this
whole thing.
is what matters. And there is something supernatural going on here.
Right.
But he knows it. He's having these weird visions.
Sure.
And he keeps seeing his kid
Yes.
that has disappeared in the hallway, which brings us to the next part. So his daughter
Yes.
is there. She goes to that party. She gets, and he's like,
Right.
he didn't want her there. He wanted her there for him, but he didn't want her to mingle with these people because he knows there's something wrong.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's when she goes off and sees the coffins with that kid.
Right.
But then she comes back because she got a glimpse of her brother.
Right.
This kid, first of all, guts.
Yeah.
As a kid, as an adult,
Right.
if I saw my dead brother like run through the hallway suddenly,
Yeah.
I wouldn't wait 24 hours to go back on my own and go
Sure.
exploring around the hotel.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
In that creepy thing? Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely not. So
No, and she is not like Wednesday Addams or anything. She's
No.
like a completely normal
but
kid.
they set it up with her going back because they saw her looking at an iPad with the video of her and her brother
Right.
and like
Yeah,
what
you
they
knew
did
it
at
was
the
gonna
day of the
happen.
beach, so you knew that was coming back. But yeah, well, she walks in and then she goes to the
candy room.
the candy room. We'll call it the candy room with the video games and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there her brother is sitting there and it's like, holy cow.
And he's completely nonplussed. And she's excited, but she's not like, oh my gosh. She's just like, you can tell
Yeah.
she's processing. I love the
Right.
acting from this kid. She's processing this. The kid, though, her
Right. yeah.
brother,
Well,
he doesn't care.
Well,
He's
he's a-
nonplussed. He doesn't know anything.
he's a vampire and he's probably
He's a
just like
vampire.
whatever. And the sister goes, well, he's like, you look different. And she's like, yeah, well, I aged. How come you didn't? He's like, it's just what I am.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow. This is great.
Yeah. And he's sitting there with his little
It's like Kristen Dunst.
blonde
Yeah.
Dutch boy haircut,
Sure.
his knee socks.
So what's with? I mean, we talked.
But they're
about
all
the Brazil
dressed
stuff.
that way.
They're all dressed that way. So I'm waiting
Boys
for
from Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's just like sitting there, and then to prove to her parents that he's still alive, she takes a selfie with him.
The
On her-
selfie,
on-
this was great too.
Right on her cell phone, and then when she goes to show the dad, who completely freaks out, like, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
The kid's face is blurry. It's
It
like,
was great too because I thought it was going to be he wasn't there because that's
Right.
usually the vampire thing. No,
yeah.
it's all like
Well, you can kind of see it, but it's like,
blurred out.
Right.
But no way does Lo not know.
oh, well, he
He
knows.
looks
already.
at that and
Well, he saw him in the hallway.
he
knows
saw him in
he's
the
there.
hallway, but he could have thought that was a delusion because he's
Right.
thinking he's wondering if he's having delusions when he's there.
Sure.
I think that when he was an alcoholic, when he was drinking actively, he was hanging out there.
Uh-huh.
I think that's why he's tied into this. And
Sure.
I think that's where his kid was scoped by Lady Gaga.
Right.
And he doesn't know, but something's tickling back there telling him
Oh, sure.
something's up. And then he's having these visions of his kid, but I don't think he's buying it because he's not finding him.
Right.
But then I think when he saw that blurred picture, he knows. He knows that's the kid.
Oh yeah.
And think about it. He's not a supernatural being. This makes no sense to
Who
him.
is in a supernatural being? Oh,
Him.
no, he's not. But
So
he's
him
got
looking at that, it's
but he's
got
got the dark side.
mind blower.
Well, he's seen so many things because he's a homicide detective.
Right.
He's seen this crazy stuff, and I think he can't process it. So he knows there's that dark side, but he's stuck between, hey, I know all this crazy stuff because I'm an alcoholic and I've seen all this stuff.
Right.
But then I'm putting on my logical.
Which this is a
investigator
great
thing.
use of this character.
Yeah.
Because he is a complete dichotomy of how he approaches things
Sure.
at once. It's
Yep.
not like sometimes he's this way and sometimes he's that. No, he's both at the same time, and
Yes.
he will stop mid action.
Oh, mid scene, like look, you can see his eyes going like in
Yes.
and out, which is
It's really
his,
great.
Which is his great skill as an actor. He has
Yes.
those piercing eyes, and you can just see him kind of going, like his eyes are like twitching back and forth.
You
You're
can
like,
tell he is thinking.
right. Well, he's like, and I'm going to pull it off the guy from Hannibal, the guy who's processing it as
Yes.
a criminal. You can
Yes.
almost suspect that he's doing that. So,
Yeah, it
when we drive away our OnlyFans, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a
we
live
are.
broadcast. There you go, guys. Thanks.
it was he's fantastic. The girl is fantastic. I mean,
Right.
I think we can't say it enough how good the acting is in this.
Right.
And the casting is so spot on.
Yeah.
Um,
and you can't even get to everybody is creepy. Chloe Savini. Oh my gosh. So
she's so good at it.
she's a doctor, and she gets called to a Hollywood home to take care of this little boy who's sick. And she walks up to the mother and is like, "Your son has the measles. He can die."
Yeah.
And the mom's like, "Well, how's that?" And she's like, "Well, you didn't vaccinate him. He has the measles." And she's like, "Well, what's the treatment?" There's no treatment. He either lives or dies. And that's and it's heartbreaking, and it's horrible.
But you know what?
but
I
you're
think
like,
that's a result of her losing her kid.
sure.
Like we're seeing, she holds it together pretty well. You can see she's like cracking some,
Sure.
but I think that like her ruined bedside manner is because
Right.
she lost her kid, but there's no resolution for her.
No.
So she's just like, it's black and white.
Right. Well, wait till she finds out that her son is still alive.
Is a
'cause
vampire.
She's going to completely freak.
She's going to go nuts. What do you bet she ends up becoming a
Oh, yeah.
vampire?
Totally.
Or she takes over for Kathy Bates.
maybe.
You know, she takes over the Cassie, because I think the Kathy Bates role is going to implode when her son implodes.
Sure. Absolutely.
And they're going to need a new receptionist.
Well,
and at the end of the season, Chloe Savini is going to be the receptionist.
Well, what happens because Donovan is not in the in crowd anymore? He probably has to move out.
Right.
So Kathy Bates is there to keep an eye on him.
Will he have to move out, or will he be moved like Sally? Like he'll be just in another room, or
Possibly. He'll be in room 64. No, he's not.
but
nothing will scoop him
vampires,
up, so.
like they don't kill theirs off. It's if they fall out of love, I would assume that it's I'm moving on to something else. No, you need to start your coven.
Right. Well, so and I guess this goes back to, and I'm just thinking this while we're talking, is Dennis O'Hara a vampire that's just sitting there, and he's like this glam person from like the 60s or 70s
Oh.
that
Because
Lady Gaga moved on from, and then he's
they
just
showed
hanging
Studio
around.
54, and
Right.
she was the Lady Godiva in that,
Yes.
which was
Great, which is fantastic.
perfect.
Well, she even said that. She goes, "I could be out in public and nobody thought anything of me."
We were all vampires
Yes.
in there, which was so great.
It was wonderful.
I
So-
wonder if you're right. If Dennis O'Hare, he was just one of the hangers on from
Right.
then,
and then just
and
like
he's just
at the
all right.
time, he
But
was
he
like
might not even be a vampire.
no, he might just be hanging on to hang on. So
Yeah, he might just be like a relic from that era that's just in that hotel.
Right.
And to him, I get to live how I want to live. I get to be
Sure.
what I want to be, and I'm not seeing
Right.
anything different than I saw there.
right, and I don't care. It's just whatever is cool. So he's just like, yeah, I'm the weird dude there.
Except for
so-
Kathy Bates' haircut. Pretty
Oh
rough.
gosh, yeah, she's.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, you know what the stuff that she goes through in this show. I mean, they make her look horrible.
Oh my god!
Every single
But no,
series.
in the one in was
New
it
Orleans
Coven?
Coven, yeah,
Not bad. I mean, for what she was, she looked.
yeah, but she
like
was the most horrible person on the
she
planet.
was the worst, but they didn't make her look
No,
horrible. This one, she looks terrible.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
season, the bearded
Yeah.
lady. But
And her accent
I will
that-
argue that her character last season was the heart of that show.
oh sure,
I
absolutely.
loved her so much.
her or Evan Peters, and I think he's
yeah,
become
he
the,
was,
Right.
but he always. This guy can act.
yeah,
And you know what? Leonardo DiCaprio is playing H.H. Holmes in a movie with
Yes.
that Scorsese's
Mhm.
making, I believe.
yeah. If he did, yeah,
And it's going to be amazing, but Evan Peters got to it first.
right.
Yes, DiCaprio is going to be amazing, but this was
Right.
as good a performance.
Oh, no.
It's like the Quicksilver thing. When he did Quicksilver, everyone thought, "Oh, his Quicksilver for Fox
He was
is going to be."
unbelievable. So
He crushed
great.
it.
Yeah, he did.
This guy he's an actor.
Oh,
He's an actor. He is something
and
else.
you kind of think of him as like, oh, he's in. He was in X-Men. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's he's
Yeah.
doing this, and you're like, whatever. And that's like he puts in great performances time after time. He's really good.
And his hotel
Oh yeah,
owner is
it's
unlike anything we've seen. And you know what? Spoiler, he dies.
yes. Well,
He's not-
It's
no,
not a spoiler.
'cause
He
we've
kills
seen
himself.
him.
He's a ghost in the hotel.
Yeah, because we saw him already. Remember the very first thing when they're
Sure.
walking down the hallway? He's the guy in that mask that
Yes.
opens the door and looks out.
Right.
First, I thought it was the Rubber Man,
Right.
but it's not. It's
No,
him.
it's him. Yeah. Because
It's
you
him.
see
And
that.
then we've also seen where he's there and she shows up too and
Right.
says, "Do you want me to clean the sheets?" Of
Right.
course.
And I love how the only way to clean them is with a special ingredient, love. It's like, oh my gosh. And then,
Oh, it's the
and then
best.
Syringe Sally's like, they're killing people, and Mary Winningham showing up upstairs. She's just like the resident ghost that
Yeah.
does these amazing things. And you're like,
Yeah, and for her, we got a little backstory. She was talking about like hanging out with Patti Smith. And,
yes. Oh, yeah.
like that was great.
Right.
She's like, my poems shattered her soul,
Right.
and
I think the
then
line
she-
was, her poems sound like shattered glass.
yeah, that's what she said.
Something like that. It's like, and then
It's
Patti Smith
great.
was done with me. So is that alluding to Patti Smith as a vampire? I mean, even though
Oh, I wasn't thinking that. She would be ideal to show up as a guest.
oh, yeah, to complete the kind of
Yes.
freak show. So
What time are we at? I need to know. Oh, no, that's fine. We're going till 7 with this and cutting it. So I'll have to edit that little
Yes.
chunky out.
hey,
there.
what are you talking about?
We'll go about
It's not
another.
10
If you
minutes,
could let
about
us
10.
know when it is, like maybe 10-2 or so.
Well, it's like
No, wait, it's 6:47.
5-2.
Let us know when it's 5-2 and we'll end.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun. 5 to what? 8? Yeah, we'll end it.
Yeah.
No, we'll talk. So yeah.
So what haven't we hit on? We've hit on the kids.
Well, the fashion show. So
The fashion show.
this fashion show shows
Why
up.
wasn't Bowie sitting there
Oh, exactly.
in
Well,
full hunger outfit?
that would have
man?
been great. Well, so it shows up, and then all of a sudden,
It's a walk off or
the
whatever.
guy who bought the hotel is a fashion designer. He's like, I'm going to throw this great
Yeah.
party here, whatever, blah blah blah. They don't let Sarah Paulson in because
Right.
she's a complete, like, she's in full heroin
Yes.
craze mode. And they're like,
Yes.
you can't stay here. She's like, this is my home. Then
Out.
Angela Bassett shows up.
Angela Bassett.
You don't
She's
know, not
gonna
Angela
be-
Bassett. I mean, Naomi
no, she
Campbell.
was there though.
She was, excuse me.
Yeah, I was excited when I
Right.
saw her. She's
But
going to
then-
be.
But then Naomi Campbell shows up and she's like this, like, oh,
Yes,
this is gonna
yes.
be great. We're gonna do this, and she's like, we're here to see Tristan Duffy, who is Finn
right.
Finn
That's what
Wittrock.
I didn't recognize her
Right.
until later.
And he
Right.
comes in and he basically is snorting any pill that he can, any drug that he
Oh,
can
he's-
snort, and he just walks out on stage and basically, I mean, if he would have
He just destroys it. I
Right.
mean,
if he would have whipped his
yeah.
business
yeah.
out, he would have whipped his business out and walked out on the
Right.
on the
Yeah,
runway.
he's a train wreck.
Right. He's a train wreck that doesn't care, and that's what makes him so great.
Right. And then he's like, he goes and he cuts his own face. Says,
Right.
I'm done with this. And then Lady Gaga gets a hold of him.
Gets a hold of him, and yeah,
But that whole scene was fabulous too.
sure.
Now wait, I must be getting confused. Angela Bassett was in there, right?
No, I don't think she was. Angela Bassett doesn't come until later.
Okay.
Well, she
thought
was there in the
in
beginning.
there.
No, it's Naomi Campbell because I thought,
I thought I
might have
saw her walk through in the group,
it
and I
might
was
have
like,
been.
"Oh, there she is!"
been. It might have been, but
Because
she.
she was so good in the last couple. I'm like, she's going to be great.
Well, hold on a second. Let me.
You're going to look it up and see if she's
I'm gonna look
there?
it up.
Yeah, just see.
No,
I
I
mean,
think
I
she
might
was
be
in the
completely
first.
wrong. Like I said, I watched it on my phone, so it's a little dark on this show. It's a little
Right.
hard to see sometimes.
I'm gonna have to look it up and go back. It's buried in here, but she's only in one of the first 3 episodes. That's what it has on the Wikipedia. So
Okay,
I don't know if it was. I thought she showed up in the first season, didn't she? Or the first episode.
I can't remember.
So I don't know.
You know
but I
what?
mean,
It's been 3 days since I've seen it.
yeah, exactly. So no, but
So
I mean,
has anybody written in with anything? Have we gotten any
Anybody?
type of correspondence at all? You know what? It's a Friday night. That's what's going to happen.
absolutely. So, but I mean, so this whole fashion show is great. The kids, of course, go wander off because they're bored. And like the girl's like, this is my first fashion show. And the kid's like, this is like my 100th. So he's like the
Yeah.
nonplussed, spoiled
His
rotten
dad
kid.
does this. He doesn't care.
Right.
That's when he's like, hey, want to see something cool?
Yeah. And you know
it's
the
a
kid
dead body down by the
right.
tracks.
Well, you know the kid has explored the whole hotel, and he's just as freaky as all the people that are living there. But he's just alive. He's like Dennis O'Hare, just kind of like, oh. They do the whole thing.
I wonder how much this kid has seen, and if we're going to have a good. This kid gets the crap scared out of him soon.
Well, I don't know if he's ever going to do that. I mean, he might not. So
yeah, he might embrace.
Right. Hey,
make him a vampire.
Yeah. Well, but they might not just because he's so.
He's not a boy from Brazil. But.
No, they need human beings to be able to do things. I think to either offer as fronts or to be there. So
they can only have so many ghosts and so many of these weird vampires.
Well, because they introduced them to the kids, and so then you know what? We did miss one thing. The kids are feeding on the last of the Swedish girls.
Yes.
So they're feeding on them, and then the little boy comes up and says, "This tastes bad," and they're like, "Oh, she died." And then they take the body and put it down.
It's done.
Like it's off, and that kind of hints towards the Lady Gaga talking about we don't eat dead people because
we don't eat dead people. We don't eat diseased things.
Sure.
Which means who's next that's going to be hanging up on that rack with Kathy Bates feeding them oysters?
Oh, yeah. Well, they got when after Tristan turned, Finn Whitrock turned, and then he goes and hunts a guy. He gets probably the total vegan, the total
right.
The guy, the guy with the beard guy, and then comes in and they're like, "Oh, this is
the
great."
hipster,
yeah,
like Jacob,
yeah. But I mean, he's in there, and you could tell he's like, I'm vegan and all this stuff, and then they just devour him, and she's like, "Oh, that's a great catch." But I think he's going to mess up big time. He's
going to screw this up.
Oh, sure. Well, but I don't know because there's going to be something. They show season of next episode, and we'll see what happens.
I don't think he's going to screw it up right away. I think that she's going to get rid of the first guy. It's going to grow in this, and he's going to mess this up in a bad way, and that's when all hell's going to break loose here.
Sure.
We missed one other tiny thing, and we're about to end, but I want to hit one last tiny nugget that I loved. I loved when Lowe was back at the police station, and he had his board.
Right.
And he's starting to piece this together. And he goes, I think we're dealing with a serial killer here.
Right.
And he's tying it all the way back
to
the Holmes character and all this stuff. And he's like, and then the last thing the guy goes, isn't that the hotel you're staying at?
Yeah.
Loved it.
Exactly. And the guy who's his partner is like in all the movies. He always plays a detective. He's fantastic. So
and I was totally getting like a 7 vibe off of this.
Yes.
They're doing
They
started going through the 10 Commandments.
Well, exactly. What's it they call it? The 10 Commandments, serial killer, whatever. But you notice how even though he kind of blew off the whole thing that Kathy Bates said, he's clicking in his mind that this comes together, and he pieces it together to see where it's at. Like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not obey your mother and father.
Which makes me wonder if it's not Gaga doing that.
Right.
So is it like Kathy Bates doing that to draw attention? Or is it Mayor Whittingham's character?
Right.
They're doing these things.
Or is it Dennis
to draw
O'Hare
attention?
because he's alive? And he's just, we'll find out like he's his kid or something.
Yes.
Which would be great. And did you notice that obviously I'm teasing you. So they set up where they show Evan Peters' character with like married a wife, blonde hair. Yeah, it's totally Lady Gaga.
Yes,
married him because he was crazy.
I thought that too.
And then
I thought it was Lady Gaga.
Well, she inherited his millions, and that's how she got her money. Right. And now she's run out. So is she going to do something with this new guy? Possibly. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, is she going to do something? Be like, oh, I'm just going to get another guy and do it.
She gets him just like Holmes used to do.
Right.
He would get women that he would seduce. They'd get married, and then they'd disappear, and he'd have all their money. That's happened in real life, and I wonder if that's what she's planning to do to this guy.
Probably. So
and maybe she's going to try and bleed Tristan dry too, because if he's this famous model, she might say, "Yeah, he's this pretty boy, but he's got a lot of dough."
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
who knows?
I don't think she turned. I don't think
he might just be bait.
I don't think the H.H. Holmes guy. I don't think he was turned. I don't think he was.
No, I don't think he was turned either.
So why would she turn?
She didn't need to.
Right. Yeah, he was. He's like way worse than she ever could.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. Yeah. She can freely do what she wants, and she knows if anything ever goes south, it's going to come back onto him.
Right.
So. And maybe that is what happened. Maybe his wife, maybe it is her, and maybe she is the one that put that hanky there that tipped the cops off that it was him.
Oh, sure.
So he gets wiped out. She's got the hotel in his building.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, he got sloppy. I don't think he was sloppy.
I don't think so at all.
It was weird. So
all right, that's it for this episode
Yeah,
of
it was
Disturbed.
awesome.
Let's wrap this one up.
Sure.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, everybody at home. You can follow us on Twitter at Disturbed Pod. I think that's what it is. You can follow us at SMG Pods. You can follow me at R Southgate. Chris, where do you tweet from?
Blue Box 176 and theblueboxcafe.com is our website. So.
And our website is southgatemediagroup.com, where you can also find the Disturbed podcast and all the past episodes that Jeff and Scott did too.
Yeah,
and it's all there. So
and they're awesome, and hopefully we can continue.
Lots of good stuff. And I
carry the torch.
did talk to Scott today, and he's excited to come on. I think at midseason he's going to join us for a
Nice.
roundtable. So, and I'm sure Jeff will too if he has the time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. to
Yeah,
have
like
them,
I said, this was not a bad parting of ways. This was literally they can't do it,
right?
but they want to do everything they can.
Sure,
So
that'll be awesome. We'll love to have them. So,
all right, you know what? I know one way we're going to end this thing.
How?
Time to check out.
We should have the bell. Ding, ding. Time to
Oh,
check in.
wait a minute.
There we go.
Grab it. We're going to totally do it. Time to check out.
Awesome.
All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody.